Hello friends, good morning. In continuation with the part 1 video on makers of modern Odisha, in this lecture we are going to discuss on Pandit Nilakantha Das, Maharaja Krushnachnadra Gajapati Narayana Dev, Dr. Harekrushna Mahatab and ShriRama Bhanja. All these people are very important from the examination point of view as conducted by the Odisha Public Service Commission examinations. Every year 1 to 2 questions comprising of 10 marks each coming in the main examinations. I am Dr. Kolas. I am a veterinary surgeon working on the government of Odisha. Let's discuss about the people. The first personality is Pandit Nilakantha Das. As we know, he brought a renaissance in the field of education and culture on Odisha soil. He was a part of Panchasakha of the Satyavadi era. There is a school at Satyavadi Puri. There are five important persons who a imparted education to the children, moral educations, and the education pertaining to live a very dignified life. All these things they imparted. So all these personalities are very important. These people are the Panchasakhas are Utkalmani Gopabandhu Das, Pandit Nilakantha Das, Acharya Harihara, Pandit Godavarisa Mishra, and Pandit Krupasandhu Mishra. Dear friends, again I am repeating Pandit Utkalamani Gopabandhu Das, Pandit Nilakantha Das, Acharya Harihar, Pandit Godavarisa Mishra, and Pandit Krupasandhu Mishra. All these five comrades are popularly known as Panchasakha of the Satyavadi era. At the prime of their youth, these five comrades have taken a vow not to enter into the government service and serve the country and ensure its prosperity. It's very important. This famous person was born on 5th of August 1884 in the family of the Ananda Das, Sri Ramchandra village in the district of Puri. Very importantly, he had edited a newspaper known as Seva, and it was from Sambalpur. By the same time, another newspaper was from the Sambalpur against the hegemony of the British rule, known as Sambalpur Hiteisani. Hiteisani. Very important. Along with this newspaper, the Seva was also published from Sambalpur. As per the Lahore Congress decision, he resigned from the Central Assembly and joined in the Salt Satyagraha movement and was imprisoned for a month of 6 months. Very important. In 1934, after the death of Mahatma Das, the entire burden fell on his head, and the first phase of Mahatma Gandhi's tour was arrested by him. In 1936, very important, you remember, in 1936, when Odisha became a separate province, Pandit Nilakantha Das joined as the president of the Pradesh Congress Committee. He was a great leader and great politician also. Under his leadership, out of 60 seats, the Congress court was able to get 36 seats. He decided to establish a university committee. Later on, as per the recommendation of the committee, Utkal University was established. By his efforts, this varsity was possible. The establishment of this university was possible. Another suggestion, please remember, in 1951, another year, he was elected to Odisha Legislative Assembly, OLA, Odisha Legislative Assembly, from the Swadhin Jana Sangha, a new party. In 1995, for request of the Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, he joined Congress again. In this said year, he was appointed as Pro Chancellor of the Utkal University, who was re-elected in 1957. He remained as a Speaker of Odisha Legislative Assembly from 1957 to 1961. Overall, his entire life was dedicated towards politics, good politics or moral politics along with the education. With his death on 6th November 1967, Odisha lost a patriot, freedom fighter, a bold legislator, reformer, and a poet, one of the architects of the modern Odisha. Dear friends, let's coming to the Maharaja Sri Krushnachnadra Gajapati Narayana Dev. He was a king from Paralakhemund. Okay, and his father's name was late Chandra Gajapati Narayana Dev. He was born on 26th of April 1892. He was highly qualified and educated in Madras, assumed a rulership in 1913, enlightened and benevolent leader also. His contribution towards making a new Odisha, a smart Odisha, is unforgettable. A patron and culture organized the session of Utkal Conference at Paralakhemund in the year 1914. In 1916, he was nominated by the government to hold the post of honorary commissioner of the land force of the Defence India. Under this land force of the Defence India, very important, remarkable developmental work he had done. Very important. He led a light railway through his estate, connecting the Naupada with Paralakhemund. First, railway line. Sorry. Second, set a big library for the education purpose in his palace for the resource scholars. First, communication. First, communication, then education. He was an important member of the Justice Party of the Madras. Legal aspects. Member of the Royal Commission, Royal Agricultural Commission in 1927. Member of the Odisha Madras Legislative Assembly, its political life. Represented Odisha at the Round Table Conference at London during 1930-31. It is also his political life. He fight for the plight of the Odisha. Deposed before the Joint Parliamentary Committee for the Union of Paralakhemund with Odisha. ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମର ପ୍ରଜାମଣ୍ଡଳ ଚାଲିଥିଲା ସରି ଯେଉଁ ଆମର ଗଡ଼ତ ଅଞ୍ଚଳକୁ ଓଡ଼ିଶାରେ ମିଶିବା ପାଇଁ ୟୁନିଫିକେସନ୍ ଅଫ୍ ଦି ଓଡ଼ିଶା ଯେତେବେଳେ ଚାଲିଥିଲା ସେ ଡିମାଣ୍ଡ କରିଥିଲେ ବିଫୋର୍ ଦି ଜଏଣ୍ଟ ପାର୍ଲାମେଣ୍ଟାରୀ କମିଟି ଇନ୍ ଦି 1934 ଆଣ୍ଡ ପ୍ଲେସ୍ ଦି ପ୍ରିଣ୍ଟେଡ୍ ମେମୋରାଣ୍ଡମ୍ ବିଫୋର୍ ଦି ଅଥରିଟି. Strongly advocated for the inclusion of Odia persons in Paralakhemund Odisha, and Odisha became a separate province in the April 1, 1936. He formed the non-Congress military ministry in the Odisha 1937. The government conferred him the title of Maharaja in the year 1936 in the recognition of his honor and merit. The Utkal University conferred him the degree LLD with or the illustration of the son of Odisha, passed away in the 1974. So dear students, please remember these points. The railway division, big library, Justice Party, part of a Royal Agricultural Commission 1927, represent Odisha Round Table, placed the plight of the Odisha, the grievances of Odisha before the Parliamentary Committee, for the unification of the Odia speaking regions with Odisha, very important. And finally, his political career formed a non-Congress ministry in the Odisha. These are his contributions, and very important. You have to remember all these points. Coming to the next personality, Dr. Harekrushna Mahatab. Overall, he was a great leader, and he was also the chief minister of the Odisha. Dr. Harekrushna Mahatab was son of his father's name is Krushnachnadra Das, and his mother's name was Tofna Devi. This great legend has been this was born on 1899, okay, in Baleshwar district. From his college days, he was actively participated in the national movement and raised his voice against the hegemony of the British government. He came to Cuttack for his higher studies, and which are left incomplete, and he was irreversibly drawn to the national liberation movement during the 1921. He was the editor of the great the great Prajatantra. Nowadays also it is coming in 1923 at Baleswar, and he got imprisonment on the charge of sedition. ଦେଶଦ୍ରୋହ ଅଭିଯୋଗରେ ସେ 1922 ଜେଲ୍ ଦଣ୍ଡ ଭୋଗିଥିଲେ. He joined Salts movement, very important, and imprisoned in 1930. जोड़ा ଆମର ଇଞ୍ଚୁଡ଼ିରେ ହେଇଥିଲା, very important. And upon his ancestor temple horizons for the first time, also see untouchability. ଆଉ ଯେଉଁ ପର୍ସିକ୍ୟୁଟେଡ୍ ମାଇନୋରିଟିଜ୍ ମାନଙ୍କୁ ଯେଉଁ ଡିପ୍ରେସ୍ ସେକ୍ସନ୍ ଅଫ୍ ଦି ପିପୁଲ୍ ସୋସାଇଟି ଯେଉଁମାନେ ରହୁଛନ୍ତି ତାଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ ସେ ବହୁତ କାମ କରିଥିଲେ. ଏଣ୍ଡ ତାଙ୍କର ଗୋଟେ ଆନସେଷ୍ଟ୍ରାଲ ତାଙ୍କର ଗୋଟେ ପାରିବାରିକ ଥିଲା ମନ୍ଦିର ଥିଲା ଯାହାକି ସେ ହରିଜନ ମାନଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ ସେ ଖୋଲା କରିଥିଲେ. He was the chief minister from Odisha of Odisha 1946 to 1950 and happened to be the Union Minister of Commerce and Industry during the 1950 to 1954. His pivotal role in the merger and integration of the former princely states foundings also unforgettable. He was the founder of the Odisha State's capital at Bhubaneswar in the sanction and construction of the multi-purpose Hirakud Dam project at Sambalpur. The compilation of his popular column Gaon Manjil, very important, published in Prajatantra, received the Central Sahitya Academy Award in 1983. Very important, you have to remember. This illustration of his soil passed away on 2nd of Jan 1987. Coming to the next personality, ShriRama Bhanjadeo, great leader, the king, the benevolent king of Mayurbhanj. Dear student, please remember, when the princely states get integrated and get merged with the Odisha, Mayurbhanj happens to be last district and which become a part of the unified Odisha. Was a king from the Mayurbhanj. He worked all-round development for the Mayurbhanj state and implemented various flagship programs of the people-centric welfare program for the benefit of the people. Pandit Gopabandhu became a friend, philosopher, guided by this ruler. Very important. Very important. His contribution also unforgettable. He constructed a narrow railway gauge and was commissioned between Rupsa and Baripada during his reign. During his period, Rupsa Baripada narrow gauge railway has been commissioned. He constructed two major reservoirs at Haldia and Haladia with an expenditure of 6 lakhs from the royal treasury or royal exchequers. Construction of your reservoirs. He raised a number of primary schools. Also, he greatly emphasized on education. Also, the vernacular system of education, and from 44 to 400 in his royal jurisdiction. Under the able leadership of the Sultan, he gave a momentum to the cause of making the Odisha people province. Chandra presided over the first meeting of Utkal Samyani. Very important. He was the first person to preside over this. Okay, these are the overall some basic things which are to be easily remembered and can be written in a very 2 to 3 minutes in this examination. Hope you have enjoyed this video. In this next video we will discuss on the Biju Patnaik and Gangadhar Meher. Hope we will come back with this video. Thank you.